Hey guys, it's Quickie Baby, and today Austin QQ is going to show us how he likes to drive in the Object 140. Now this is one of the best replays of the week on the replays.quickybaby.com website. And I felt that it was tense and impressive enough to justify a solo commentary on it. Now the Object 140 is the Tier 10 Soviet medium tank, and he's playing in a platoon of Tier 10 Soviet medium tanks. Evil Ryan, his platoon mate, is in an Object 142, and then his friend called BB is in a T-62A. Now these tanks may look fairly similar. Two Object 140s there, and a T-62A. But there are differences between them. And that's not the only platoon of Soviet medium tanks. As we can see, the enemy T-62A got lit up there and absolutely punished. Now this E-100 Jagdpanzer is making his way across the open. And he is just getting murdered right now. Check out the rate of fire on this platoon of Soviet medium tanks. It's absolutely crazy. These tanks fire 9 rounds a minute. Now their alpha damage isn't as high as the other Tier 10 medium tanks. It's 320 alpha damage per shot rather than 390. But their DPM is still higher than every tank apart from the STB-1 because of their fantastic rate of fire. Now to touch again on the differences between the Object 140 and the T-62A. The Object 140 is faster and it's lighter, while the T-62A has amazing turret armor, which is the main benefit between the vehicles. And when I say that its turret armor is better, the Object 140's turret armor is really bad. You can put shells reliably in the top of the turret, which is unusual for a Soviet medium tank. A good analysis would be that it's a lot like an IS-3. That STB-1 got very greedy. He saw that T-125 on very low health and thought, hell, all I need to do is to get around his flank to put one shot into him. All that it meant is that he lost the entirety of his tank, and he didn't even get to kill the T-125. Now Austin has got the opportunity to shoot at another Tier 10 German heavy tank, the E-100. While there's an AMX 1390 scouting out his friend Evil, by the looks of it, who is situated down in the town, who has a lot of pressure on him. And Austin gets spotted there. He tries to work his way backwards, bounces a shell, probably from the T-62A that was shooting him earlier. And this game is on a razor's edge. I mean, it's very close. Neither team has managed to pick up the advantage. Austin still has a lot of his friends on the eastern flank, but it looks like they're getting overwhelmed on the west here. And his platoon are not weathering the storm very well. His friend in the T-62A has been reduced to 19 hit points. And even the amazing DPM of these Soviet medium tanks is unable to keep all of the enemies from pushing up the center corridor of the western part of the map. Now he gets an awesome opportunity to shoot this T-57 heavy. Bounces a shot there after taking one in the hull armor from the T-62A, which also damaged the fuel tanks of the Object 140. That's one of the worst things about the Object 140 and the T-62A. The fact that the fuel tanks at the front of the vehicle do get damaged quite a lot, as the frontal armor on these tanks is not the best. We can see that Austin still uses a fire extinguisher, but instead of using a med pack, he uses combat rations. That's a brave move. but also a rather good meta when you think about it. If you can afford to use the combat rations on this vehicle, you really don't want to drop out the fire extinguisher because they do get set on fire that much. And if you're ever engaging an Object 140 or a T-62A, they're not like a T-54 at all. On a T-54, if you shoot it on the upper plate, it's quite likely that it's going to bounce. Now don't get me wrong, if the armor is well angled on the T-62A or the Object 140 on the front, then it's still quite likely to bounce. I'm just highlighting the fact that it is 20mm thinner, sorry, than on the T-54, which is unusual as it's a tier higher. Now what resistance was holding up on the eastern part of the map is dying with that ISA. But it looks like they've done a good job over there. Quite a few of the tanks that are rolling through are on low health, and the artillery just shaved off even more from that Foch. So the Object 140 has got one extra degree of gun depression compared to the T-62A, which can allow it to use some positions that the T-62A couldn't. However, 1 degree is still 6. It's not like the Pattern or the Leopard, which I believe have 9. Here we can see that Austin, I believe, is using auto-aim here. Manages to ram that AMX 1390 to death. I think that AMX 1390 got a little overconfident there. I think he thought that as the eastern flank had been won, that his team would provide fire support from that eastern flank. And really, you don't ever want to mess around with a tier 10 Soviet medium vehicle. Now this is one of the highlights of the game. Austin has flanked around, and he has caught the entire enemy team unaware. As they kill his platoon mate BB, and are distracted by that bat chap, Austin is going to town on the C-75. He's trying to circle strafe him. The C-75 puts a good shot into his side there, but it doesn't look like it's enough. As Austin finishes him off and immediately draws his attention to the T-110E5. Wow, what a turnaround that was. The enemy team have still got 3 more tanks than Austin. But picking up those 3 kills meant that this isn't going to be a whitewash anymore, at least. But oh god, there's a T-57 Heavy up there as well. Luckily, it looks like the T-57 Heavy has lost vision of Austin and is unable to fire his 2 remaining shells in that devastating 120mm autoloader clip. So now Austin seems to be making a decision to get away from the T-57 Heavy, which is a really good idea in medium tanks. The T-57 Heavy loves to chew up these medium vehicles. And he's flanking around. I believe he thought that he could catch the Bat Chat while it was reloading. But the enemy Bat Chat had other ideas and rocketed forwards, killing an equal member on his team. But some good marksmanship there by Austin. Managed to pick off the M103, who was on low health, and then the Bat Chat. And luckily for him, it seems like the Waffenträger auf Panzer IV was more interested in getting into cover and killing the artillery than focusing on Austin. Now, even if Austin was to die here, this has been a fantastic game for him. 7 kills, 5,700 damage. That's a great role to play in an Object 140. Even outnumbered 3-1, including the Waffenträger auf Panzer IV being on full health. Austin's not giving up. Now his friend BB gives him some advice. Now Austin said when he submitted this replay that his hands were shaking and he was super nervous in this situation. I think anyone would be. But his friend BB kept calm, and he kind of led Austin, I believe, here to a fantastic position. T-57 Heavy had absolutely no idea where he was. and was caught completely unaware and taken out by the Object 140 there with a fantastic fire. Now the first shell rolled really low, 249 is 71 below average. And the second shell rolled slightly high and set the T-57 Heavy on fire. What a result there. Now it's 2 versus 1. The artillery barely missing Austin. He's definitely got to watch out though. The enemy Waffenträger auf Panzer IV is using the 150mm. And even if he isn't, Austin is a one-shot. So Austin peers forwards to try and spot the Waffenträger auf Panzer IV using the bushes. Finds that he's unable to do so, so he pushes forwards. Oh wow, it was the tree that was blocking vision. And there's only 16 seconds left until the Waffenträger auf Panzer IV caps. And he's also got to watch out for the fact that there's artillery on the enemy team. 8, 7, 6. And the Waffenträger misses. 3, 2. Wow, what a shot on the move. Straight into the Waffenträger auf Panzer IV. And the second shell he hits on the move again sets him on fire and the artillery misses. It's really on now. Still, the enemy tank has got 60% of its hit points left. And he misses his shot! Austin seizes his opportunity, knowing that the enemy artillery will be reloading and coming after him. And keeps moving as fast as he can to avoid the artillery fire, while strafing an excellent kill on the enemy Panzer. A nice bit of a turn to the right there. Keeps him in the game again, denying the Object 261 on the enemy team a kill. It's 8,000 damage so far. A 100% kill on that Waffenträger auf Panzer IV as he was capping out in the base. It was a brilliant result for Austin. But he has been reduced to below 300 hit points, which means that even if the Object 261 sneezes on him, that he is going to perish. Austin's not going to let that faze him. He's making his way straight in towards the artillery. And he's doing that because he's only got 2 minutes left on the game. He knows that if he gets into the cap circle with 1 minute and 40 seconds left, he can cap and win. And for all he knows, the enemy artillery could have gone down the west or could have gone down the east. I.e., he has no hope of finding him. Nevertheless, there is the Object 261 who decided to stay in base rather than go down one of the flanks. Austin puts in the first shot into the 261. And he just makes it into the cap in time to be able to pull off a full cap and win before the time runs out. He seems to be quite nervous at the moment. He's zooming his mouse in and out. In and out. I can just sense the tension. He has no idea which way the artillery is coming from. And Shazam manages to pull off a great kill at the end of the game there. Hats off to the enemy artillery for trying to win. Looking back on this, I guess the artillery could have been able to go here and splash around the corner towards the end of the game, which would have meant that he at least interrupted securing a draw or splashing Austin to death. But that was risky, because the splash damage might not be long enough. Plus, if he wants to position himself here, he leaves himself completely at mercy for Austin's side scraping out round the corners and engaging him. So he threw caution to the wind, came round the corner, but got taken out by the shaking hands of our hero. Austin, thank you so much for this replay. It was a real fun one for me to watch. It was very tense, and it was worth watching if only for that amazing flanking maneuver you pulled off in the middle of the game, where you seized an opportunity to flank almost the entirety of the enemy advance and take them out. So let's just take a quick look at the post-game stats. So Austin QQ picked up a variety of medals. He picked up the Tank Sniper medal, preferring to keep the engagement at long ranges, the Pools medal for his 10 kills, high caliber, the Defender medal for that defense of the cap with only 2 seconds left, and a steel wall in an Object 140, which is a great effort. Being situated on top of the ridge line in the start to the middle of the game is what really earned him that, and the enemies firing up at the pretty well angled armor of the Object 140 gave him a lot of potential damage received. So 8,500 damage done and 1,711 base experience. This was a hell of a result, and a game that anyone could be proud of. If there was anything I didn't like, it was probably your use of auto-aim, but it still completely worked out for you, and probably allows you to keep moving, traveling over 5 kilometers. You didn't need to stop to fire. These strong Soviet medium tanks are super accurate even while on the move. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this replay. If you did, please consider rating it down below. It really helps the channel out. And thanks for watching. You've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon.